it's Pippa from Love Local Radio in the third part of our series about investorsincommunity.org. It's a new web-based platform designed to bring charities, fundraisers and businesses together. And I'm joined this morning by Phil Webb, who is the Managing Director. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning.
Tell me, there are a few different fundraising platforms out there. What is it that makes investorsincommunity.org different?
Well, it's an interesting landscape for charities as they reach out and look for donations, volunteering, gifting, in fact, support of any kind in the market. If you take, for example, the financial side of the charities and the need to fundraise, most charities, I think, are suggesting that between 40 and 60%, in some cases higher, is being lost due to the COVID pandemic and the refocus of people's generosity back to the NHS-focused charities as opposed to the charities that cover all the other aspects in life. So fundraising is becoming a bit of a dire problem for many, and it's becoming a key focus for most. And they reach out to platforms. Now, some of these platforms have been around for some years, and the problem with these platforms is they all charge. They charge monthly fees, they charge inflated transaction fees on your credit cards. They often charge a membership to the charity, and of course they take from the gift aid as well. And so in many cases those charges can be substantial, and that's money out of the charity sector. So at Investors in Community, we just felt that was wrong. Simple as that. So the design of the platform really is to encourage charities to join us and do all the fundraising activities and volunteering and gifting all in one place. And the key thing about this is it's utterly free. And I mean really free. Nothing, no charges, nothing.
That really is magnificent because, of course, you know, when we talk about charities, we think of those big guns, don't we? But there are hundreds, thousands of really tiny charities who just cannot afford to lose a penny in fees and so on because everything they raise is being used to deliver their good works. Isn't that right?
That's absolutely right. I mean, the actual joining a platform to raise funds in the first place can be a blocker for those smaller charities and community groups. Even the sort of £40-50 a month is a problem. So we think that's wrong. So we've removed any and all barriers to charities engaging with us, and they're quite able to join us for free. There's no downside whatsoever, and amplify their presence on our platform, which is a live marketplace, which is viewed by businesses, philanthropists and individuals alike who are all looking to support. And one of the biggest problems we always find for companies in particular, they say, well, we give to these charities, and they're always the headline big brands, but it's actually the very small ones that actually desperately need the help. And it often surprises people to say, did you know there are 130 charities within 7 miles radius of your location? And they look at you with amazement. They say, really? But it's actually true. But they don't get a look in because they don't know who they are and where they are. But that's our platform, live marketplace advantage. It allows the little charities and the smaller community groups to become equal in status and volume on our platform to those very large charities, and all for free.
I often come across when I talk to grant funders, for example, and they'll say, oh, well, we'll only work with charities that are registered with the Charities Commission, and you're a community interest company, so we can't work with you. Are you open to everybody who's not-for-profit, everybody who has a corporate body, so to speak?
Yeah, the rule is very simple. They must be constituted. And that means that they must have a treasurer and a bank account in the name of the cause. And if you can prove that, you're welcome to use our platform in exactly the same way as a constituted charity. So everybody's got a level playing field. It's quite a shame, actually, that the smaller not-for-profit organisations are often overlooked by the corporates and companies who are looking for charities with an inverted commas around them. But of course, the work that the not-for-profits do is charitably focused and helps the community. Hence, Investors in Community reaches out to all and is inclusive right across the board.
And of course, once your charity, your not-for-profit, your community group has set up its profile on the platform, you could be running more than one campaign at a time, couldn't you?
Yeah, it's quite important, actually, because if you take the charitable intents of a business, they will normally, I say normally, it's a generalizing statement I know, but they will reach out to those brands, those well-known charities in the local area, town or city. And it's the top 5 or 6 charities that get the most attention simply because there's a lack of choice, because people don't know others exist. We have what we call a live marketplace. So when you as a charity or a community group or a not-for-profit organisation becomes a profile on our platform, you're at liberty to launch as many little projects as you wish. And they get sent out to all the people on the platform every time you do that. So you amplify your presence for no cost, and you're able to chunk down the things that you require to help you in the organisation, and you're able to appeal to a much greater range of people.
So every time you launch a new project, it gets sent out to all of the businesses?
Yep, they're all notified. And of course, if you're in a business in a particular location, you can actually search around your location and the area to find local causes. And if you have, 3 or 4 projects launched and live in the market, then obviously your name will pop up and present themselves to the possible donors and supporters of your charity. And for many charities, I've done many of these interviews before, and charities look at the market and say, who's going to give to me? And I'm going to offer you a challenge to all of you who are in the charitable space. What are you going to do for businesses? Because when businesses and individuals give to you, they're not actually just buying a goodwill statement for the day. They're actually buying some kind of an emotional feeling. They also like to know what happens to the money. So you're actually selling them an impact. And if you invert the thinking a little bit, you're selling them something which is what they need as a business to prove their own CSR credentials. So a charity might be selling the opportunity to a business to have a team of volunteers on site for a team building exercise, for example. Or they might be selling the opportunity to create a good news story in their marketing and press releases. So if you think of it in those terms, you'll find much stronger relationships with businesses if you start to say, what can I offer a business if they're going to offer me the support that I want?
Fantastic. I just want to spend a couple of minutes as well talking about individuals. So, for example, I've launched a fundraising appeal and I want to build disabled access into my building, for example, and I tell my neighbours about this and they want to support it. So as individuals, how do they fit into this bigger picture?
Well, the good news for every individual, again, it's free. We've made it open as possible. This whole business model of ours is funded by businesses subscribing to fulfill their corporate social responsibility reporting requirements and to manage the work that they do, and that's becoming more and more important to them. So they fund the model, so individuals are free. So exactly the same way as with other sites, you just simply, your friends and family can create a profile which takes you a few minutes. Once it's set up, you're able to use that as your lifetime account of giving, where you can monitor and measure all your volunteering, any gifting that you do, any fundraisers or any donations that you make throughout your entire lifetime. And when you give something to anybody, the system generates something called community credits. And community credits is the measurement of giving. And so over your lifetime, over years if you wish, you can collect community credits, which is almost like a statement of your character. You can compare to others. You can join groups with others if you wish to compare metrics. And you have this account which lasts forever and is your only account that you ever need for any form of charitable giving.
And what an amazing asset to share with an employer if you're applying for a job or to go and work in the third sector somewhere. One statement of all of your activity in one place.
It's true. The community credits could be used for many things in the future. We have ideas around if people find themselves between work, for example. Volunteering in the sector could produce some evidence that they didn't just sort of sit around for a time looking for the next job. They actually went out and did something. It's quite interesting because one of our legal clients suggests that he can tell by the interns that actually engage with charitable work during their internship, and those people that engage with charitable giving more than the others are 80% more likely to get a job at the end of it. Not because of that necessarily, but it's an interesting correlation between people who want to give and reach out and do a bit extra. It actually reflects in their general demeanour within the business.
Yeah.
So community credits is actually set to be an interesting standard. Other companies use it to give gifts. So if an employee, for example, does a lot of charitable work, they may rank them by month and give a Meal for Two award or something. So community credits, again, is the gift that the charities can give to the business when they say, join us on this platform, help us to do what we need to do, and you will get these benefits.
Yeah, so it's a different way of thinking for the charities that are joining the platform. That's very interesting. What is your message to those who are working in charities?
It's really simple. Join us. It's free. Go to our URL, simply create your charity profile. Once you've done that, you're free to launch as many little projects as possible. Keep them small to start with. get some traction, we'll help you amplify that with our own social media machine, which is growing and it's quite substantial right now across the UK. And we'll help you to get the support that you need. But once you've launched your project, share it with everybody that you know and amplify it through your own social media, and therefore get as much opportunity to get support as possible. And that's what our platform's all about.
That's terrific. Phil, before I let you go, just tell us, what is the website address?
The website address is www.investorsincommunity.org. That's investorsincommunity.org.
That's Phil Webb, the Managing Director of Investors in Community. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Pippa.